Next on this evening's programme, it started more than a decade ago at just one location in Bristol. But tonight, the city's 12th Slapstick Festival gets underway with events in major venues, including Colston Hall.
Well, more than 6,000 tickets have already been sold for the 5-day celebration of silent and classic comedy. Well, comedian Lucy Porter is a member of the festival's board, and I'm delighted to say that she joins us from the Watershed. So, Lucy, what makes this event in particular so special, do you think?
I mean, it's just been getting bigger and better for the years that I've been coming here. I've been involved for about 5 years, and it's a delight. People come together to celebrate physical knockabout comedy, and there's such a range of stuff on offer. So there's kind of the classics like your Laurel and Hardy and your Charlie Chaplin, but then there's also interesting things, more modern things. There's a tribute to Rick Mayall. I'm just about to go in and do a tribute to the late great Victoria Wood.
And Lucy, you mentioned that tribute to Victoria Wood there. What can you tell us about what people will experience when they see that?
We're going to show some of our favourite clips. We've got the brilliant Pippa Evans, we've got a brilliant academic who knows a lot about the kind of nuts and bolts of what Victoria Wood did. So it's going to be a beautiful celebration. It's actually already sold out. It was one of the first things to sell out because I think people are so affectionate towards Victoria Wood, and also I think it fits into the Slapstick Festival really well because it's a celebration of all the sort of funny physical stuff that she did and all those kind of, and also her brilliant songs, which are amazing. So we'll be hearing the Ballad of Barry and Frida at some point, I'm sure.
Are you actually going to be performing that then, Lucy? That's a classic, isn't it?
I will be singing along really badly. No one really wants to hear me sing, but I will do anyway.
I'm sure they do. In terms of slapstick, do you think it still has relevance today?
Yeah, well, I mean, what's been brilliant about doing this festival for the last few years is seeing the audience expand and grow. So, you know, there are a lot of people who are real film buffs, real old film buffs, and like we've been attracting younger people who have come up to me and said, I didn't think I liked slapstick, I didn't think I liked silent comedy, you know, I thought it was all a bit lowbrow, but actually now they've discovered that they really do love silly physical comedy. So we've got, you know, stuff about the young ones, the goodies. I mean, I loved the goodies growing up, and we're bringing that to a whole new generation of people are kind of seeing this stuff for the first time. So it's got broad appeal, this festival.
And Lucy, just briefly tell us about Simon Callow, because he's lined up for a big Chaplin event at the Colston Hall on Saturday. What's that going to involve?
Very exciting. Saturday at the Colston Hall is a huge day. We've got Simon Callow talking about his favourite Chaplin films. There's also going to be a screening of The Great Dictator, one of the finest ever Chaplin films, and possibly strangely relevant at the moment given global political events. It's, you know, brilliant that the festival can attract people of the calibre of Simon Callow, and I know he's very excited to be here. He's just been filming a film with my husband, weirdly, and was saying how excited he was to come to Bristol and do this event.
Well, Lucy, it sounds like it's going to be a fantastic few days at the festival. Thanks for your time. Enjoy the few days ahead.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
It does sound like fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great few days.
Yeah. Amazing. Now, it started more than a decade ago at just one location in Bristol, and tonight the city's 12th Slapstick Festival got underway with events in major venues including Colston Hall. More than 6,000 tickets have already been sold for the 5-day celebration of silent and classic comedy.
It's extraordinary. After 13 years, Slapstick Festival, it just keeps growing year on year in Bristol, and there just seems to be this phenomenal response from people locally. 80% of people come to us from Bristol and the surrounding area. So it just seems to be the passion for physical comedy that seems to have a timeless quality to it. I've just left a screening where we've been looking at Jacques Tati, great French mime and physical comedy performer, and then we've got things over the weekend, things like The Young Ones that people maybe wouldn't think of classic, but now that's 30 years old.
Could all do with a laugh, I think, tonight. So it's over to Bristol's Colston Hall, where it's a gala night at the Slapstick Festival.
Yes, that's right, and Amanda Parr is there for us now. Hi, Amanda.
Hello, yes, they're all gathering for this gala night. Tonight there'll be a screening of the wonderful The Freshman from 1925. There'll be some Buster Keaton, some Laurel and Hardy, laugh out loud, comedy classics all. And to join us now, a modern-day comedy classic who's hosting the entire evening. Rory Bremner, welcome.
Thank you very much indeed. I will be speaking, so that's not coming out with the whole series of cards and mouthing, but I will be speaking.
The audience will be delighted. Just give us an idea of the magic that you're about to unveil to the audience, this wonderful world.
Well, it is. I mean, the festival itself now has been going for, I think, 12 years, and I was told about it by Graham Gardner from The Goodies. He's a great hero, he's been a sort of father figure of this festival, and Chris Daniels, the organiser. And they told me about how it's grown over the years. And this is the big gala night. We've got a 27-piece orchestra. We've got a screening of the freshman Harold Lloyd. Now, this is back in 1925. People who know their silent movies will know he was one of the great heroes, along with Buster Keaton and Laurel and Hardy. We've got a short from Buster Keaton, as you mentioned, one from Laurel and Hardy. But I've never seen anything like this before. So for me,
just having that music played live alongside it must be astounding.
Well, I don't know what to expect. I really don't. And I mean, I think some of these people in the audience will have been here before, but there will be others who've never seen. But some might not have seen a silent film before. But with an orchestra, there's going to be a very, very special atmosphere. I mean, it's a joy. It's a rather weird thing. I'm hosting something, but I don't know anything about it.
You'll be enlightened as you go along.
I absolutely
Listen,
will.
I have to sidestep just slightly to ask we're seeing a wave of comic resistance to Donald Trump coming out of the US at the moment. Do you think that President Trump knows how to see the funny side?
They're protesting outside. I kind of wish that was silent as well. I'd like to see a silent protest. And we're going to make Bristol great again, Amanda. We really are. I think it's going to be great. Yeah, there's going to be some protests. There's going to be a lot. I watched the inauguration speech, and that was a shocker. It's a shocker. It's a shocker. We're going to make America great again. We knew he was going to say that, but I think in a way that's what's nice about this festival, because this festival is the antithesis to everything that was in that speech. Because that speech, America first, everything. These films are made in the 1920s when people came to California from Sweden, from France, from Russia. You had all this foreign talent, all the immigrant talent going over to Hollywood with the Brits, of course, with Charlie Chaplin and with Stan Laurel, and they made these wonderful films, and they're silent films. The language is humour. That language is universal. So what better day?
I think you'll be busy with President Trump for a while to come yet, won't you?
Listen,
good to talk to you. Thank you, Rory. The Slapstick Festival goes on across the weekend. There's lots on the cards, so enjoy.
That was a great impression, wasn't it?
It was brilliant.
Now it's
Now, next tonight, Bristol's 12th annual Slapstick Festival continues this evening and across the weekend with events around the city. More than 6,000 people will watch the celebration of silent and classic comedy.
Yes, comedian and impressionist Rory Bremner is hosting tonight's gala show at Colston Hall. He joins us live this evening. Rory, thanks very much for joining us on the programme. First of all, what makes the Slapstick Festival so special in your view?
Oh, well, as you say, it's been running for 12 years, and it's such a celebration of the golden age, really, of the silence. We've got two terrific short films, Buster Keaton and Laurel and Hardy. Roy Hudd is with us tonight. He's going to be doing a live performance celebration of Max Miller, and behind me you can see this poster, the original poster for The Freshman, which is a great Harold Lloyd classic. And I mean, it's sort of a culture. It's a wonderful thing Bristol does here each year. I think people, we grew up loving the silent movies, and it's just a huge celebration. I think the real kicker, though, is having a live orchestra. So we've got the Bristol Ensemble, we've got Gunter Buchwald, and he's going to be conducting. I've never seen anything like this before, so this is my first time, so I'm not quite sure what to expect, but I think it's going to be very special. It's been a special day, so it's been a weird day. I feel like I've watched a film all day. I feel like the Donald Trump thing. We've been watching these extraordinary films, and then there's this another one where this guy, 70 years of age, with a funny haircut, and his family, and he's being sworn, and you think, where's the punchline? Where's the tag? What's going to happen? It's a strange day, but we're going to make Slapstick great again. We're going to make Bristol great again. Don't worry, John T. Kiley. It's going to be wonderful. It's so good to be on your show, by the way.
It's great to have you. I'm not sure quite who I'm talking to, actually.
I know, it's very confusing, isn't it? We'll come on to Donald Trump in a moment, Rory, but just talk us through the Slapstick Festival, because 6,000 tickets sold for the festival. It's proving hugely popular, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
It really is. I mean, it's just grown and grown and grown. I mean, I got into it through Graham Garden, who he's been a huge hero of mine from The Goodies, and we'll remember them. And I think actually they and a lot of other comedians. I mean, you could see the origins of Mr. Bean and so much comedy, and Rick Mayall as well. I think they had a section devoted to Rick Mayall this year. So many of the comedians that have learned, and Paul Merton is another one, who learned such a lot from the silent movies and who had such great sort of heroes. And I think it's just a unique festival. So many of these films haven't been seen for for a long time. 1925 was a great year for silent movies, and Harold Lloyd himself. I mean, I think this film we're going to see tonight, it's changed silent movies. Buster Keaton made a similar college campus movie 2 years later. This started a huge trend. So I think it's a chance for not only people who are sort of silent movie buffs, but people who've never experienced a silent movie before, let alone with a live orchestra, to come along and see what it's like. I'm looking forward to seeing Roy Hudd, I must say as well, because he's a great aficionado of the old music hall and of the cinema as well. So I think it's just a very unique thing, and it's at this time of the year in Bristol every year.
And Rory, your job must change all the time because you're having to learn new characters, aren't you? We just heard your Trump there. Is there anyone who you're kind of learning at the moment, trying to get to grips with?
No, well, it's mostly Donald Trump. There's a protest outside. I know we got a silent comedy. I wish the protest was silent as well. We're going to silence it. We got guys with guns. It's going to be great. It's going to be so good. But let me tell you, you know, whatever the future holds, it's going to be bright. It's going to be orange. You see my face.
And Rory, with that in mind, given all the events to today, we've got Bob in the studio about to give us the forecast. How would Donald Trump throw to the weather, do you think?
I think it's time you had your own weather. For too long you've been getting the weather from us, folks. We're going to put ourselves first. We're going to keep our weather. You've got your weather over there. It's time you made up your own weather. Bob, take it away.
Wow, follow that, Bob.